Welcome back, Horror Fiends. I'm Ricky Grimes back here with my man Joe. This is the Horror Fiend Podcast, Episode 2, The Walking Dead. We are covering Episode 11-9. That's going to be No Other Way. This episode here is directed by John Emil, and this is the return of The Walking Dead. First half was A, this is B, and then the third part will be C. So this season is going to be the last and final season broken down into 3 parts. This is the start of the second part. Quickly, Joe, what's your overall thoughts on this episode?
I mean, for me, I loved the episode. It was a throwback to where you have a lot of action going on and they still can put some heart in there, because it's all good to have episodes all heart. But this one had action, and then you had the heart, and it was all kind of fitting in there. I told you before I was trying to get caught up, so I ended up, I work overnight. If anybody didn't know, so when I came home this morning, literally finished I got to the end of the season finale of Part A, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go ahead and watch the next one now. I was gonna lay down, but nope, I jumped right into it, and I'm like, I'll do about 15 minutes of it, finished it all the way to the end. Great episode. The VIPs of this episode are definitely Maggie and Gabriel. I mentioned in our last video that Gabriel slowly starting to lose his faith. This is an episode you see that faith
it's gone.
It's gone.
Completely gone.
Yeah, at this point it's gone. And then I'm gonna go ahead and call it that Maggie is kind of going for the evolution of Negan 2.0.
Yeah, very interesting what they're doing a lot of these characters because Rick is not here. So a lot of his story has got to be shifted around. And plus, we're missing Michonne and Dwight, who are no longer on this main show at all. And they play key roles within the storyline coming up. Yeah, my feelings exactly. I loved this episode. This felt like a proper Walking Dead. The first half failed in comparison, in my opinion, to this. This here felt like, okay, now they know it's the final half. They know the pedal is on the metal. I mean, right from the very beginning, this episode had action. You said it had horror elements in it. It had a lot of good character moments, a lot of good character beats, a lot of emotional feelings tied into this episode, and it's one after the other. So they really do a lot of payoffs. And thank you. The Reaper storyline is over already. Thank you for that. I didn't want it to drag. Also, there's going to be spoilers all over the place. If you have not watched this episode yet, please do before we completely go into the spoiler territory on this. So let's get it started. This episode started right where we left off with Leah. Just the barrage of, what is it? There were like fireworks.
Fireworks, yeah.
Yeah, a barrage of fireworks right where the cliffhanger left off. And you see how the group quickly maneuvered past that. Well, what are your thoughts on that? Maggie, Negan, Gabriel and Elijah are all stuck in this facility. Also, the Reapers are also down there as well. So not only they're fighting the walkers, the fireworks, and also they're getting tracked down by the Reapers.
Well, I thought when they first showed it, I thought it was a cannon full of arrows.
Me too.
That's what I thought it was going to be, arrows. Yeah. I didn't know it was going to be fireworks. So to have, I think kind of would have been cool seeing arrows. So yeah, when I saw that it was fireworks that were shooting out of this cannon, I was like, oh, darn it. I mean, I wanted to see arrows. Yeah. I wanted to see, it didn't have to be all Game of Thrones, but just to see like the arrows going through and seeing like, either the walkers or some of the Reavers being impaled like right there across the field. It was another great shot.
It's obvious they did it for the flair of the dramatic because they wanted the big explosion shots in there.
Yeah,
like when Maggie grabbed that one guy, and of course we knew what was going to happen. They had a tussle. At first, I thought that was Negan. I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" So Maggie and her group, they all get separated, and Maggie is being trailed by that one Reaper. Man, I forgot his name actually. Carver. He's a badass.
Carver's a badass.
He's a badass.
Carver's a badass.
He's a badass. So they're trailing him. They lure him into a trap, which was funny because I thought, all right, he's done. I thought Negan was going to put him on his knees. And since he had the pipe, I thought he was going to get, but nah, man, this guy was like, nah, come on, this is nothing. He took care of all 3 of them like nothing.
Yeah. That's the only thing I didn't like. I didn't like it either because Elijah's supposed to be a fighter as well. He was injured.
And Negan, I got this in my notes. He just looks worn out.
And I don't know if they were because they're hungry, so they're trying to maybe portray them that they don't have the energy.
He felt like an old man, you know?
Yeah, and well, even Maggie, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, this dude, like straight up, it's like he just went snake eyes on all them. Like that's what I thought about. The way he was jumping around, all the moves. I'm like, this guy is like kicking their asses. But then that's what I thought. I'm like, well, maybe instead of them, all three of them being able to overtake them, as you said, they fought a little more sluggish. They are there for food. Yeah. Essentially. So, they don't have the energy, whereas Carver has gotten to eat pretty good so far.
Yeah, you're right. That's a very good point. They're all malnourished, injured. They've been out. They probably hasn't slept for a few days at this point. So you could definitely tell they're very malnourished at this point in the game. And yeah, so eventually they take him down because of Negan and this guy. He grabs with the bell and he had a powder, right? He hit it.
It was some kind of dirt because when you saw the bell and you saw either dirt, sand, or something.
Like yeah. It could have been sand for like sandbags or something like that. But he threw the sand in his face, and then when he knocked him with the bell, the sound it made was just I laughed.
Yeah, I laughed also.
But then Daryl came, and Daryl was like, "No, please, we're not gonna go this route. We need him." At first I thought, oh man, like he's really doing this for Leia, but he said, no, I'm doing it for the group. It's the only way out of here. What do you think? Was Daryl do it because of Leia, or did he do it simply for his group?
I think for both. He was doing it for his group, but he was still hoping that maybe he could stop Leia from doing that. So then that way, because he wanted them to come.
Yeah.
Well, not all of them, but at least Leia to come join him. So I think for him, it was for both.
That comes later too.
Yeah,
we get our answer later.
When we get to that later on, we'll know why.
Well, this particular group has a plan to escape. Elijah really hurt. His leg got completely kicked in by Carver. I mean, big time. He knows he's done, but he can't.
Well, and he had the shrapnel from the mine when they were walking through. So, I mean, he was already injured as it was.
He's injured. So we got that point. Let's go to Gabriel. You mentioned Gabriel, VIP. Gabriel's arc in this, I loved it. I mean, very dark. And you did not see the bonus episode, correct? With him and Aaron and Robert Patrick. You should watch it when you get a chance. It's not essential, but it does add more layers to the dark path that Gabriel's definitely going on. Highly recommend that episode. But yeah, so Gabriel, man, he runs into the other priest in here. Was that guy blind?
No,
right?
No. Because when he speaks to him, he saw that Gabriel was there.
Okay.
When he first, because it was in the episode before, right?
But the part was so when the priest was out in the field,
he was out there praying.
Yes.
And he looked towards his direction, and Gabriel thought he saw him. And then before they meet up, actually, before we get into him, I doubt they're going to change it. The only thing that was throwing me off with the Gabriel scenes is I kind of wish they would shoot it from his good eye side.
It's distracting, right?
It's distracting me from the bad eye side. And I'm trying, like, my problem is I'm trying to focus on the story, and I'm also trying to, because, well, when you're dealing with people who have either, that situation or lazy eye, you learn what the good eye is. So that's where you look at.
That's where you look at, yeah.
You're spending, and I'm like, oh my God, everything is being shot from this side, and it's just distracting me. But yeah, when Gabriel walks in and finds the priest, so now you got basically the two priests meeting each other, and he said to him that he knew he was there, but he asked God if he was going to harm him, and God said no, so he left him alone. And that's when Gabriel was like, "You still hear him?" The guy was like, "Yes, I do. You don't." And I think that's it. That's when it clicked with Gabriel. I don't.
You don't hear him anymore.
I don't hear him anymore. And then he killed him.
Wow. Yes. I knew that was coming. Like,
well, you do, but I think that was the point at that point. So that for me was Gabriel killing his faith. This man still, had his faith and heard from God. He hadn't, and then by this man telling him that, by killing him, that was it. Like, basically he put a knife in what was left of his faith, pretty much, as far as religion and God right now.
Yeah. Also, Gabriel too. this priest was hanging around pretty much and helping and abiding these murderers that murdered Gabriel's friends. So to Gabriel, this guy was a murderer himself, whether he did it or not. He's with them, and Gabriel's like, I gotta go through you if you're not gonna move aside because family's first, you know. That was a great scene. And then my favorite Gabriel scene, obviously, was when he picks up the sniper rifle towards the end. Oh, dude, what was your reaction
oh my god, when Leah's when because you got the first shot.
Yeah.
So like it was funny because Gabriel knew what his assignment was.
Yeah.
He was literally so when Leah talked and they did the warning shot, I was like, and because again, I didn't know it was him.
Yeah.
So you heard the warning shot, and I'm like, fuck. And she starts talking, he goes, Nope. Gabriel. It's Gabriel. I was like, oh my god. So Gabriel was like, and like I said, that's what made him one of the VIPs.
Yes.
Like you had that little arc with the priest, but it was that right there where it was just like, it's Gabriel.
Another.
Like,
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it just would have been like funny to him to go, it's Gabriel, motherfucker.
Oh yeah,
because that the way he delivered his name.
Yeah,
that's exactly how like the impact he did.
It felt like it was missing something, and the motherfucker at the end would have encapsulated.
Yeah.
The Gabriel too. A subtle thing he did was at the end of the episode when they're back at Alexandria, and then Jerry announces trouble at the gates, and they need help everyone to the gates. And after what Gabriel just went through, as beat up as he is, his look was like, oh god, like it's never gonna end. Just he didn't say nothing, just the look on his face. The actor, oh, he's so good in this show. Seth Gilliam, awesome guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's doing a great job, and I love the character progression of Gabriel. I fear for him though. I don't think that this is no spoilers because
if you read the comic books, we all know what the outcome is.
He's been gone in the comics.
And if you didn't notice in the towards the end, there was a guy just hanging there.
You seen that, right?
I saw it. I saw that. I'm like, oh,
but again,
Gabriel's foreshadow.
Again, watch the bonus episode. There's another huge foreshadowing there. So I'm thinking it might not be that, but somehow I got an idea of what his fate's gonna be. But I'll save it for a different podcast when we get there. But I have a feeling that's gonna come. All right, now back in Alexandria. We were left in episode 8 with a big storm that caused a breach in the walls that walkers got in, and now the basement's flooding. The Alexandrians are all scattered trying to evacuate, but Gracie and Judith are still inside, locked in the basement, and the walkers are crashing in. Aaron finds them and heroically jumps in there, and he's got that awesome mace weapon, just pounding people. At this point, I'm like, oh my god, the action in this episode is incredible because it's just. I'm not even going to mention the cinematography; it goes beyond that. Just the way they was shot, and like it felt very kinetic, a lot of energy to it, and it's in the water. And when you see the walkers underneath the water coming up, such a great, scary moment. And I wish Walker did more stuff like that because when it does it does it right.
Yeah.
And it was so damn cool. And once again, at this point in the game, the walkers are just walkers. They're around. They're just in the way. But here, they felt scary again. And I was scared because, again, it's the last season, so anything could happen. I thought Gracie was going to get bit. I was like, oh, no, please don't take Judith. I doubt that. But Gracie, you never know.
I thought it was going to be Aaron, actually.
And then, yes, and that's what I was going to get to. Then all of a sudden, Aaron's in trouble. I'm like, oh, no, he could go. Yes, at this point, you never know.
Well, actually, that scene, because you mentioned the horror part of it, you know what it reminded me of? Which, in this movie, it didn't have a whole lot of horror because it was a lot more action.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Was when Newt was in the water and the xenomorph comes up behind her
after
she falls in.
Yeah.
That is what it when you saw Gracie and, like, I'm like, oh my God. Because, again, that movie didn't have a whole, like, horror part. It was here and there, but the scary part, that was one of the scarier parts. So when I saw that, that's why I was like, I'm like watching, I'm like, aliens, Newt in the water. Like, and it was great. And it was good because it delivered the horror in that shot.
It did. It really did.
No, it did a really good shot.
It's tight quarters at that. It's not like it's got a lot of space to work with.
And water, we've discussed, sorry.
Yeah.
Hate when we discussed the 47, you and I are not a water people. So you got tight waters, water. I
Yep.
mean, it's not a good combination
And
to
not
be
just
in.
water that are filled with walkers. And that one walker that Aaron bashed, the blood went inside of the
Eh,
water. So that water's all contaminated. You don't want
Yeah,
to
I
get
know.
any of that inside of you. I was thinking of a poltergeist in a sense, with the walkers in the water coming in the dark.
Oh,
Like I don't know why. I just reminded me of that.
I can see that too.
But yeah, that was such a good scene. Again, it builds a lot of good character moments. Aaron needed that because a lot in this season so far, a lot of characters ain't really getting a lot of time to shine because they focus more on Maggie's group and the Commonwealth group. But the Alexandrians ain't got much time to develop. But that was awesome to see. And yeah, so Aaron's come a long way. I want to talk about Aaron real quick, just really briefly, from where he started back when he was, stranger danger, bringing the group into Alexandria, punching them, not trusting them, tying them up. See how clean cut, Abercrombie and Fitch type looking guy, and the way he is now. I mean, he's pretty much Rick Grimes from the comic books. The same
Yeah.
look, the missing the hand. I mean, when he's that sat in the water, when he looks in, his real tight shot of his face with the beard, and he's all wet. I'm like, holy shit, that's Rick Grimes from the books, man. That's a dead ringer for Rick Grimes. And they knew that. That's why they took his arm off, man. Come on, somebody had to get the hand chopped off.
Yeah.
but Aaron was good. Any final thoughts on Aaron before we move
Oh
on?
no! Listen, Aaron's part of my community.
He's great.
I mean,
love him.
I got some kick-ass representation in this show.
Yes, I love
You
it.
know,
Yeah.
when I thought they were gonna kill him off, and if this is how we're gonna go, I was gonna be mad because I'm like, listen, you killed Jesus.
I was mad because I kind of wanted him and Jesus to be a couple, man.
So did I. That's what I was really
I thought they were going that route, and they took that away from us, man.
Yeah, I was hoping that they were gonna actually go for that and do that. Make them, because there was a lot of scenes that they had together. If you go back, you can see that there was a flirtation going on between them, but it was also, both of them were strong members of their own groups, so they also had that alpha male thing going again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So both of them had to have proven themselves. No, his character development's been great.
What sucks is they had history, because remember there was a time skip, 6-7 years, whatever it was. I think it was 6.
They could have totally
put
them together.
Yes, they were, because they're already friendly. They talked about their history, but they weren't really together. Not because, don't forget, Aaron was Alexandria, Jesus was Hilltop, and their respective leaders within their communities, but they were not really the friendliest at that time. They were kind of meeting together and hiding at that. So I think there was something there. I just wish we would have got to see it more. But
me too.
Needless to say, at least Aaron is doing good. Miss Jesus, but I'm happy for Aaron. The actor's awesome. I'm glad he's doing really well.
Well, shit, because of him doing this, that's how he ended up getting, playing the Red Skull.
Red Skull
in the Marvel movies. A lot of people didn't know that it was him until after.
I think. Well, you know what it is with him? He could impersonate almost any actor. So
he's a good actor.
Pretty much impersonating Hugo Weaving. All right, you just put the mask, put the makeup on, and speak, and you wouldn't even know that that's not even the same actor from the Captain America First Avenger movie. So that's pretty good. He also did a lot of voices in What If too. So
I have to watch that.
yeah, it's good. So yeah, let's go back real quick. We're gonna discuss Maggie now. You mentioned Maggie, VIP of this. Maggie, I wasn't happy with her in this season until now. Now we're getting some serious character development here. And so let's go back to our group. Remember, they got Carver. They're trying to make arrangements with Leah and the rest of the Reapers to kind of like a truce. Let us walk, you walk. No one else needs to die. We forget about everything that happened. That's Daryl's point of view. But Maggie and her group, her people were slaughtered. Their place was destroyed. The Reapers did all that. So to them, that's not going to be as easy to let go of that grudge, especially for Elijah, who lost his sister to the Reapers. And, let's cut it short here, because let's just get to the nitty gritty. We were mentioned Gabriel already, took over the sniping position. Now the Alexandrians in control, because Leia was going to kill Daryl and everyone else. I'm convinced.
She was.
She was. And Maggie knew that. But Maggie said, you know what? Because of Daryl and I want to do the right thing. She looked at Negan. Negan is like, just, yeah, you know what I want. I want to survive. You know what I'm saying? Negan's a survivor. So, okay, let's do it. They made the plan. But then Maggie saw Elijah still just, he's like a shell of himself, man. He's like delusional. He's talking his sister's name over and over that they murdered her. and she lost it. At this point, when the music made this scene for me. Music is very important. I'm telling you, I've always said this. The score in this scene, when Maggie I knew it. Once she looked up and she grabbed her pistol, and to look at Negan's face, he knew. He's like, oh God, here we go. Like,
No, that go ahead.
go, you could go.
No, go.
So
Because
we'll get back. We'll get back to yeah.
I'm curious. Go back to that look. Go ahead.
So yeah, so that's my first impression was that like Negan's like, oh shit. So, and Daryl, by the time he figured out what was going on, it was too late. She was already capping dudes in the back of the head. And of course, Leia, I knew she wasn't going to tag her in the head. She tagged her somewhere else. She ran off hurt. Daryl finds her, lets her live before he changes his mind. Get out. Just, and that's it. The Reapers are completely done in this storyline. Only Leia is alive. She's the only one that's still out there. At this point, the group is just beat down. And yeah, so real quick, Negan, let's put that on hold really quickly though. Real quick. Maggie and Daryl, after this scene here, Maggie's actions, how does that change their relationship, you think? Because there was a lot of tension there at the end.
Oh, between Maggie and Daryl?
Daryl, yeah.
Well, because he was hoping that there would be some, like they would have a resolution to this.
They would be
and
better,
everybody
right?
would be able to walk away from this. Everybody would walk away alive. Yeah. And he saw Maggie's decision. But I'm just saying, let's go back. But can I also go back to where we talk about Negan's reaction?
No, that's what I mean. We're going to go back.
Okay.
When I mean go back, because that's going to take into the next
So there was a conversation that Maggie and Negan had.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of these moments of both the character developments, but it's more pushing for Maggie's forward development as a character.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked him, if you had the chance to do it again, would you have changed it? And he said, yes. She's like, okay. And he's like, I would have killed you all. Yes. Because he is telling her his mistake by not killing you all is I lost my people. You lost a bunch of people. We spent all these years fighting with each other. If I would have just killed you all and been done with it, my people would still be alive. Like with the reading in between the lines, but that's what the conversation said.
Good show. I didn't catch that. Good show.
So when they're sitting there and Maggie looks at Negan, it's actually what he said was, you know what I would do. And it was because of the conversation. So that's why Maggie's like, got that gun out.
Damn, I read it. I read it wrong. Totally read that wrong.
Yeah, no, it was because that's what I'm saying. Negan, and I don't think that. So here's the thing. I don't think Negan is manipulating her in a bad way. I think Negan is trying to explain to her his reason for killing Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
This is for her to understand because he said we were both doing the same thing. Like, are you not understanding? I was trying to keep my group alive. You're trying to keep your group alive. So yeah, that scene right there with him basically telling her, and she said it. She's like, "Why would you say that?" She's like, "You asked me." Without him explaining, that's what all that meant. So that's why she had to kill them. Basically, when you know what I would do. I just told you I made the mistake with you guys. Don't make my mistake.
I found it interesting too. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm saying, and then, she went and went behind, shot him. I mean, basically it was, just went for it. Said, fuck it.
He wouldn't help. He wouldn't help.
Oh, he was going to stay. Well, no, he needed her to do that.
Yes, exactly.
This is because this all falls into, and it's not a malicious plan. It's all Negan's way of trying to explain to her, I'm not really a bad person. I had to do bad things for the right reasons.
I missed that. Good call.
And Maggie is that's what I'm saying. Maggie's turning into Negan 2.0 because she's realizing it. Shit, he's right.
He's right. Yeah.
It's that shit.
She understands the way he ticks now.
And she realized his mistake, flashing back all the losses they've had, with their wars with each other, that let's just end it right now.
Right. We'll go from there. Before we get to Negan and Maggie's conclusion, there was also one scene in between that, the death of Alden. I was never a big fan of the character, but
I was.
But when I say it like that, I didn't dislike him. What I mean, he's not like a guy like, oh, Alden, you know what I'm saying? He was a guy, I liked his presence in the show. I liked how he interacted with other characters, but he wasn't like one of my favorites, put it that way. But when I saw him, they faked us out though with the one walker. Like, oh, okay, that's the sound she heard. Now we're gonna find him alive. But he wasn't. He was already a walker. He was gone, and that was heartbreaking. Even, like I said, even
Yeah.
for a character like that, he's been around since season 6.
Well, because wasn't
Yeah,
he
yeah.
part of Negan's
He was a
group?
savior. He was a savior.
Yeah, and then,
Yeah.
but the thing with him
No, I'm
is
sorry. I'm
that,
sorry. Season 7, I believe it was in.
but with him, he happened to have been there for a lot of their important fights and a lot of their, like
Yeah.
when you look back, he's there. He
He
may not
helped.
have been. He may not have spoken. He was their enemy,
Yeah.
and then wanted to prove, listen, because again, some of these people are doing what they're doing in order to survive,
Right, right.
and some of them are having to follow questionable people.
And he
You know,
had a big role. I mean, he helped rebuild the hilltop.
yeah,
He also was the blacksmith of the hilltop, so he helped make a lot of the weapons he learned from Earl. So he played a big role within that community, and to see him gone like that is like, it was so sad. Again, the music and like Lauren Cohan did a great job in this scene, just showing that emotion. And again, you may not realize this, but there's time skips. There's almost like a 9 years by this around, I think 6 years, about 9 years, let's say, that these characters know each other already.
yeah.
And they've been up and downs. And Maggie had left, and she probably feels guilty now. She comes back, and Jesus is gone, Enid is gone, Tara's gone. Now she loses Alden. Like all of her close acquaintances are all gone. Her friends and family, they're just gone.
And her
And
group,
her
got
entire
decimated.
group, her entire group only has Elijah left, and he's not looking
Yeah.
too good. So yeah, that was heartbreaking. Again, good. This episode again, it had action, horror, suspense, emotion. Like this ran the gamut of like, oh my god, like I was like I couldn't take it anymore. And I thought that was the end. Then comes some of the best stuff after that too. So what's your final thoughts on the Alden death scene? Because I know he was you.
Oh no, like I said, I mean, it's another one, and I mean, I guess we all should get used to it. That it seems like, granted, he was a bad guy at first, but the nice ones die.
Yeah.
Like the ones that aren't necessarily the evil ones are the ones that end up dying. Meanwhile, the other ones continue to live. So it was another not that it was another nice character.
Yeah.
They got killed off. Just another one on the Dale, Herschel, list of characters who are the unfortunate sacrifice for the show.
Now, let's go back now. Well, let's go forward, but back to our previous conversation. Maggie is now by Alden's grave, right? She buried Alden. Is that what she was doing? Oh, no.
Yeah. No, it was Alden, I think.
Yeah. So Negan creeps up behind her, and the music, you knew it wasn't. You knew something was gonna go down. He's in the foreground, pipe in hand. Maggie in the background. The camera focuses on her now, and she looks back, and Negan's got this look on his face, gripping the pipe. Maggie gets up. She starts clutching her pistol. Just the tension of that scene and Negan's words. I'm gonna let you handle this because I know you're gonna have some good thoughts about this one.
Well, at that point, Negan has been pushing her, so Negan now knows what she's capable of. So he basically he's like, I know what you're going to do. I'm not going to give you the opportunity. He didn't take her out then. He could have, but he did not.
It's not his intentions, though. Yeah,
it's not his intention.
Yeah.
He told her, "I'm gonna stay 1 mile away from you." Like literally, he gave her. He's like, "I'm gonna stay 1 mile away from you." But I think that Negan, it was just because in the episode before, I think it was episode 7, when he taught her how to basically blend in with the walkers. Negan is kind of taking a little pride in what he's helping her become.
Yeah, he's molding in a sense,
But at the same time, Negan is fully aware, and I think that scene was just to say, I created you, I'll take you down.
Yep, I created you, I know what you're capable of now. You will do what you got to do, and
just know that I will take you down.
Yeah, I could do it. I'm not gonna do it now, though. I'm just, you know what? I'm just gonna leave. Never see me again. Essentially, I'm going my own way. Of course, he's gonna come back. We know that, obviously. But that was a great scene too. Again, this episode just kept boom, boom, boom. Like no filler whatsoever. Every scene, it felt like it progressed the story in a sense, and I love that. That's something that's been missing so far, and this first half. And this second half, if everything from now on is like this, man,
That'd be great.
We're in for a ride.
Well, and back to because I don't know if he ended up overhearing it, but in the episode of Broken Promises, when Elijah was talking to Maggie, her promise is that she was going to kill Negan.
Yes.
And then he asked her again. She didn't say yes or no. However, she's swaying on her decision now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I couldn't remember if Negan overheard that, but I think that her swaying it a little bit, and if Negan did hear that, because he wasn't that far from earshot in the episode either, he kind of, I like I said, I think he's just trying to make her understand a little bit more.
Do you think they're gonna come to some kind of understanding by the time the series is over?
So I would like to see some kind of conflict resolution between the two of them. I do feel that there might be some fan giving into the fans, and the fans may like to see Maggie ultimately kill Negan, just because the show lost a lot of fans after Negan killed Glenn and Abraham.
It's crazy. I think now will be the opposite effect. If Maggie kills Negan, I think a lot of people will be upset.
Well, people will still be, but I mean, at this point, it's kind of
because Negan's acclimated so well into the group as a member, but
it would still take you back to a key pivotal.
It does.
One of her drives,
like when they had that one conversation, like you mentioned, when she asked him about what would you do different, and he said, "I would just kill you all." That I was like, "Oh man, all right." Negan's still in there somewhere. Like
he's in there, but you understood.
You understood.
Like basically, he's saying my fuck up is that I try to deliver you guys a message.
Yeah.
And you guys fought back.
Yeah.
And then it turned into shit. Like I killed two of you instead of killing you all, and you guys all came back after me, and here we are.
Here we are.
All
right. Well, how about this? How about we're going to go back to Alexandria now? The group shows up. The storm's over. Everyone's rebuilding. There's like no food left. But of course, awesome. Maggie and her group come in, a wagon full of food and supplies, vegetables, all that stuff. Connie, I forgot about this. Daryl thought she was dead. She was gone. And when Daryl's handing out fruits and he saw Connie, the way he drops the fruit basket, and he's got this little childish look in his face, like somebody just bought him like a Christmas gift and he's running to get it. Oh man, you don't see the character of Norman, the character of Daryl portrayed by Norman Reedus. You don't see him emote like that at all. He never really shows feelings of smiling and happiness. Rarely. And when I saw that and then he hugged and he learned the sign language just for her, man. Oh, that tugged the heartstrings right there for me, man.
That's because that's one of the few characters that he doesn't have any tension or conflict with.
No. And I said, I forgot about that. It's been so long. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I forgot. Daryl, oh my God.
No, they're close to each other because it's one of the few characters that he doesn't have any bad history. There's nothing negative between the two of them. So the friendship has been built all positive. So it was like a ray of sunshine for him to see that.
And they threw that little, if you notice, they cut to Carol to see her reaction. And she was happy for him, but she loves Daryl,
Oh yeah.
But I like Daryl and Carol the way they are, though. I love them as just these friends. It's this bond, like brother and sister. I dig that. I don't want them, in my opinion, I don't want them to hook.
You don't want a couple?
No,
I'm back and forth on it.
At first, I was with it at first when during like season 3 when Carol's talking about Daryl going down on her and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, they flirted. The flirtation was funny. It was cute. I liked it. But now, so much time has passed and they've been through so much and so much loss on both sides. I think now they just need each other.
Yeah.
So and as friends, but it could go either way. Who knows? But yeah, we're gonna go down to this right now. The Commonwealth finally arriving at Alexandria, and again, after all they went through, now they got this at their door. I mentioned Gabriel, but I could imagine everybody else. Like, oh damn.
Imagine
not seeing this army outside your house and like these, let's say it, stormtrooper outfits. They must be like, what the fuck is this? Like, But then Eugene comes, wait, no.
Uh,
And he's like, no, we're friends. And pretty much, Lance Hornsby comes in there. He's the diplomatic from representing the Commonwealth to speak for him, man. Pretty much tells him, listen, we want to help. If you don't want to come, we could help rebuild you, but I got something better. And he's going to take the group to the Commonwealth to kind of check it out to see what they think about it. That's kind of where we leave off. But we thought, I love this transition, by the way. When they showed Maggie's, I saw Maggie. Oh, Maggie ain't gonna be down for this. But when they saw her, and it kind of the camera pans around, and everything behind her turns dark and gloomy, and all of a sudden it pans out, and it says 6 months later. I'm like, what the hell is this? The Commonwealth's charging the gates. One guy gets off the horse, takes his mask off, his helmet. It's Daryl, the one person who you would never think would like conform to this. He would never go along to be like a goon or a soldier or a grunt. But it's Daryl looking all clean, and there's tension between him and Maggie now. You read the comics, so you kind of know what that Alexandria always has some resistance. I think Magna was the one that was leading that, though. It wasn't Maggie, it was Magna. But yeah, now Maggie is going to lead this resistance somehow, and that's it. We get a preview for next week. Do you think they're going to constantly flash back in between the 6 months, or that's just going to say?
I'm hoping that they might fill that in a little bit. And just before we wrap up, because this was another part that I always look at. This is another one of Eugene's mistakes. Eugene seems to always make big mistakes for the group with all the best intentions. So when he was in the episode, he was dealing with the whole Commonwealth. We got the privilege going on with the governor's son and the whole scene, them cleaning up. But then for him to not get punished, he had to give the location of the friends, and then he shows up there. So I sat there, I'm like, here's another fucking Eugene mistake that just fucks shit up for everybody. But it's funny because when they were showing that scene, all jokes aside, I'm watching it, and the first thing I noticed, I went, oh man, the editing fucked up because Maggie's hair is short.
Oh yeah,
I caught it that fast. It was that fast because her hair was like down here, and
reshoot.
And I'm like, oh no, they didn't do the wigs or extension. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, I'm like, oh, all right,
yeah.
That's why her hair is short. It wasn't a fuck up on editing. But yeah, no, like just it was. I'm hoping that we're gonna get some types of little fillers in there, just so I don't know how we got here, and that we're not just gonna jump off the next episode 6 months from here.
I doubt it because we still got I would say at 15 episodes after this one, so we still got a lot of time left.
Because what did they break it down? It's 24 episodes, and they're doing 8 into 3 parts.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So
hopefully they'll fill that in.
It will, and I'm curious. So if the very last, let's say, episode is gonna start where this one left off with the 6 months, or like you said, maybe in between they're gonna go back and forth between timelines.
Hopefully.
I don't know. But Rosita, one of my favorite characters, was in this as well. She was with Coco. We never see Coco, the daughter. She was adorable. Oh my god. And yeah, she's a badass. Rosita deserves a lot more than what she gets because she is a fighter. She is capable of doing anything. If you need a lockpick, you need a car jump started, you need to set up a timer on a bomb or defuse a bomb. She's there. I'm glad she was helping out in Alexandria. It's always good to see that. I want to see more for her.
Well, in the comics, isn't she also dead by now?
Dead. Yeah. She got piked. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a while ago.
Yeah. And so that's where we left off with these characters. Going by my notes, I'm all set. One thing I will say, when Rosita was on the stairs, so they were, fending off the walkers on the steps, was awesome. And I'm thinking to myself, oh God, they're gonna give Rosita Andrea's comic death, aren't they? I thought. The scenes in there, you had a feeling that one of the main people in Alexandria, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Was going to end up dying because of the way, like I said, you either thought it was Aaron, you either thought it was going to be Rosita. You had a feeling that one of them, we were going to have a major death back in Alexandria.
Yeah.
And they kept the suspense enough that they did.
That's why I said, because I was like, all right, Andrew's gone. They need a character. Because that was a pretty cool moment in the comics. The way it was written was amazing, and I think they want to keep that for the show. So I said they need to have someone fill in that role, and I'm like, oh man, maybe that's why they didn't kill Rosita on the Pikes, because they wanted to save her for this. But now I'm thinking, I don't think Gabriel's making it, so I don't think they're gonna kill Sadiq, Gabriel, and Rosita and leave Coco by herself. You know what I'm saying? So Gabriel, in my opinion, between the two, he's on the chopping block. I believe Rosita's in it to win it. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Anything you wanna pop off with before we get out of here?
No, we're good.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. So come back next week for episode 3 of the Horror Fiend TV podcast with me, Ricky Grimes, and Joe talking about episode 10 of The Walking Dead. Come back. It's gonna be awesome. Be safe, guys. Peace.